Why do our twisted minds let us risk our life for a social media like?
You are such a genuine gem. Thank you for clicking on my Foul Play February. I'm Brooke Makenna, but today's video is going to be about the 48-hour missing challenge. Have you ever had the urge to want to run away, or that you want to just go somewhere and change your whole life and never return, to leave it all behind and start again? I think we really all have, but the problem is once it's taken to social media, like many things, it gets far darker and stranger and more dangerous than we could have ever imagined. And that's what's happened once again. By the way, I am posting every single day this month, so if you're not already subscribed, make sure you click that button, and if you want to go ahead and thumbs up, I would love you forever. Now let's get back to the story. Now, this particular challenge is happening on Facebook this time, and it was said to have started gaining more traction in the United States around February and getting more and more competitors. And the scary thing is, it seems like a quite fun, innocent game. When I was reading about it, I was like, oh my god, and it's so what me and my friends would have been drawn to. And so I think that that's why it's so important for me to talk about this and the dangers of it, because this can go from something fun to something so incredibly life-altering in seconds. And that's because this 48-hour challenge is to basically have people as young as 14 years old, like children, run away from their homes for 48 hours at a time, or 2 days. And this is without telling a soul where they are going. The whole point of this is to see how many times you can be mentioned on social media for being missing. So basically it's a tally of how many times your missing photo is shared, how many times somebody on Facebook says that they miss you or they wonder where you are, or somebody says that they've seen you. And all of that is tallied, and when you return after 48 hours, completely fine, basically, well, at least you hope, you go and you tally all of those up, and all of those equal your score, and you were trying to beat everybody else's. This challenge is said to be a copycat of something that happened in 2015 in Western Europe. It was a game of 72 where people would go missing for 72 hours at a time. And back then it was so new that parents didn't even really believe that this was a challenge going on until many parents started posting it on Facebook and sharing it around that their children had gone missing but came back 3 days later, were completely fine, and were warning other parents about it. And that's when this gained even more traction, and more children began playing it because parents were then sharing it more and more, making it the knowledge of their children. It all started when a 13-year-old named Emma went missing for 3 whole days, and when she came back, she wouldn't tell police where she had been or who she had been with, and all she said was it was a dare from 12/24/72, or the game of 72, where they dared her to go missing for 3 days. And that is when panic spread like wildfire among parents. Parents of these children going missing are left feeling sick and nauseous, believing that their children was either abducted or murdered, and that they have no idea what has happened. And it's even worse because police investigators are getting countless calls frantically from the parents and missing persons reports, and they're going out and spending all of this time and all these resources on these cases that aren't real, instead of the actual missing persons cases that are, and that these people really do need saving, and that these families really do have people that they may never see again. And these children who are playing a game to get social media shares are taking the possible time of finding those real people in danger away from them. Police are saying runaways and missing persons reports are very serious matters, and to chase these attention seekers type challenges pulls law enforcement away from their many other duties and causes unnecessary anxiety amongst the families and friends that are involved. Because these parents are being led to believe that something has happened to their children, so of course they're going to call the police departments, and it's not their fault, and the police aren't necessarily blaming the parents, because anyone in that situation, any good parent, would call and make sure that they are doing everything they can the minute it happens, the minute they find out. But the problem is these kids kids are the ones that have no remorse. They are the ones who are doing this to get attention and who are taking time away from actual cases, and they don't seem to care. They just think it's funny as they emerge from their hiding spot that they've been in and see how many points they got in this sick competition or if they've won. One mother even said after their child was found, she took them into police custody to have them talk to him about, the dangers of lying and about wasting their time, and basically the teenager didn't even care. They just went back home and posted selfies of themselves in a police car. And that is a problem. One even expressed happiness because they were in the lead because they decided to stay missing for 55 hours instead of the 48. But they don't seem to understand the severity of what they are doing, and that is why I'm bringing this to you guys to spread awareness of it, because oftentimes, the parents will share it to other parents and they'll forget to instill in their children why it's so scary. Yeah, you can tell your child, you better not do this, I'll ground you if you do, but really to make them understand why it's so incredibly important to not do this, not only for parents' health, your anxieties, but also for all of those people who are possibly, in sex trafficking or who have been abducted and who are just waiting for the police to figure out a lead or to work on their case, and they can't do that because they're looking for a stupid teenager who wants social media likes. And a spokesperson on Facebook has said that there are reporting tools on every single Facebook page that you should use if you ever see this game being spread or anybody talking about it negatively or teenagers going to do it, because they will investigate into it. Like I said, I saw the intriguing way that the title pulls you in, and me having this true crime mystery channel, I was like, wow, maybe that's something I could talk about. But the more I looked into it, I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. And it's turned into not just, a fun thing where, oh, I'm gonna try to live a different life for a little while. It's turned into something that involves the police, which is not ever okay. And I just don't think that anyone is understanding that not only is that putting police in a horrible situation where they have to ditch the cases that actually matter to find these people, but it's also putting the people who are playing this game in danger, because while you were hiding out, if you don't have a safe place to go, you could be hurt while you were hiding out. If you were trying to go missing, chances are you aren't going to go to your best friend's house because your mom's going to find you there. So where are these children going? They're going to places where they've either never been before or whether they know that they can hide out, and those are normally not the safest places. So how awful would it be for you to be playing this game where you were trying to pretend to be abducted and you actually get abducted? I mean, you manifest whatever you want into your life, and if you're going to play that game, it could possibly manifest into your real life, and I hope that that never happens to anyone who plays this game, or anyone at all. I mean, it's just, I never wish that upon anyone, but there is a chance of that, and you need to be aware of that. But also the fact that if you were ever to go missing after you play this game, say you come home, everything's fine, it's a few years from now, if you were to really go missing, chances are the police would take even longer to look into your case, to think that you are an actual missing person, to go after you, to find you, because you are the person who cried wolf. You are the one who already said, oh, I went missing and came home a few days later. I've seen by doing these true crime cases, by researching them, the police aren't the best at deciphering between if it's just a runaway or if it's an actual abduction in teenage cases. I see a lot of times that teenagers will be pushed to the back burner because they're like, oh, they're just runaways, they'll come home. And so now with this whole challenge, that's just proving that to them, and they're not going to go after them like they need to be, because before this challenge, people were actually going missing and they weren't being found because they missed that period in which they could have found them because they believed they were just runaways. I mean, imagine doing this challenge, coming home just fine, having to tell the police that you were just joking, it was just a game, and then a year later actually being abducted. You cried wolf once. You better hope they believe it now. I think our obsession with not only challenges but social media can be quite deadly, if I'm honest. It reminds me of the movie called Nerve, where they did truth or dares, and these truth or dares were life or death basically, and it can get to that point when you just want to continually one-up yourself, whether it's popularity, whether it's just you feel the need to one-up yourself mentally or physically. And I mean, no amount of likes will save your life, and no lack of empathy is going to help you win. Because eventually, if you have any sort of a heart, you will realize what you did to not only your parents at the time, but to the police and to the actual missing people of the world, and you will feel guilty for doing that and for wasting everyone's time, giving so much anxiety to people, which it wasn't necessary to do. And so if any of you are watching who have seen this challenge, who are thinking of playing it, or who are being peer pressured into playing it, maybe just think about all of that first and realize that if you want to do this, if you want to, safely do it, tell your parents where you were going first. Tell your parents you're going to do this and kind of map out where you're going to go, and you can just pretend. Nothing wrong with pretending. Actors do it every day and they get paid lots of money for it, so maybe do it that way and just don't do the whole online likes equals most popular, the winner thing. That's where it goes a little too far. But I thought you guys might be interested in hearing about this, not only because if you might have kids, but also just because this is something that is very pertinent to my channel and what I do, and I felt like it was necessary to share this with the audience that I have. So if you want to share this video, it would be greatly appreciated, or at least share the information and put it around so that more and more people are aware of it and know the precautions they need to take and the dangers of it, not just to show that it's some cool challenge to do. Because those go around. I mean, people were eating Tide Pods before. It's something that once it becomes a social media craze, then everybody feels like it's okay no matter how crazy it may be. And that's where it needs to stop. So I hope by this that I did not make any of you want to do it whatsoever. I hope that you know by my video how serious it can be, and I hope you all stay safe. But I am posting every single day this month, so if you do like my content, I would love if you would subscribe and thumbs up this video, and leave a comment down below the craziest thing you have done to get likes on social media, and if you regret it. I'd love to hear about that. But don't ever forget to speak up. Your voice is powerful enough, and I love you to absolute pieces. Okay, bye.